Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live. Really excited to have you here. We've got new grants, a ton of new grants that are on the app and on the Skip Funding Assistant. So, as always, really excited to do this every single Tuesday. And shout outs to where you're all watching from. So, equal in the same first comment in, shout out to Connecticut. And as always, put in where you're watching from, city and state, because our team every single day we look at the state level, at the city level for new grant and funding opportunities. So full stop there, and can't wait to get into today's live and also hit the like button so more business owners, more entrepreneurs see this information. And if you're tuned in early, you're one of the folks who's been a longtime supporter, which is amazing. Just think about, of the 33 million small businesses that are out there, how many of them don't know about some of these grants? And you can decide whether you want them to know about it, because I know they are competitive. But we've got a lot to cover today. I'm going to talk about at least 5 new grants. These are all on the screen right here. The link to our app is in the description. If you have problems with the app, comments, feedback, feel free to chime in here. What I did, I stopped adding in all of the individual links in these descriptions because there's just overwhelming. There's so many grants and fundings that we list. There's about 40 that are live right now. Some of them you know about, some of them you don't know about. So encourage you to take a look there after this live today. So I'm going to answer some questions as well. Shout outs to North Carolina, Illinois, Indiana, Alaska. Jen in Rochester was just there last week. I'll be there tonight as well. I'm in the city at the moment. Shout out to Florida, South Carolina, and so many of you who tune in every single week. So thanks as always. How many of you have already entered our June Skip grants? If you haven't, it takes 30 seconds. It's our $1,000 grants. I'm going to show a clip next week. I didn't have time to prepare, but our winners from May and our winners from April. In fact, a couple of the winners from April were on last week's live as well. And we had our special guest last week too. So great to hear. Give a shout out if you've entered our June Skip grants. Again, we've donated over $250,000 over the past 3 years. We could have put it towards anything else, but we decided it's really important to us to do everything we can to give out grants. So many little things that we can do to help. Here's why. A couple of stats I want to show before we get into the grants. 47% of startup failures in 2022 were due to a lack of financing. That's nearly double the percentage that failed for the same reason in 2021. So lack of financing, that could be funding, line of credits, loans, and grants. That's a huge deal. Running out of cash was behind 44% of failures. That's why we work so hard focusing on the funding, because if we can help you find the best option for you, we'll help more businesses succeed, stay in business, and continue to help the U.S. economy. So very briefly here, coming up on tomorrow, here you go. At the same time, I'm going to be talking about creating a business plan from start to finish. So if you want to tune in for that, you can show you're interested on the Skip dashboard. The reason why we're talking about this tomorrow is because, last statistic, I promise, 71% of fast-growing businesses have written plans that they refer to often. There's a strong correlation between written plans, just writing something down, and success. So I'm going to talk through how to create that. And the second piece is, often for a lot of these grants we talk about, you need to have a business plan ready. So without further ado, let me share some of the new ones. Again, you can see all of these right here on the dashboard. Would love to hear which ones you are thinking about applying for and which ones you have questions about. It's very important because we want to help you succeed. I've shared this stat a lot. 85 or 86% of folks who want to apply for these grants or fundings never actually make it across the finish line. So our goal, our focus now is helping you get in more and more applications. Speaking of more and more applications, the June Skip grants, hopefully you've all entered that, because it's there's it's Gay History Month, Pride Month, I'm sorry, Queer to Stay, LGBTQ plus Business Preservation Initiative. That's due in August. There's another LGBTQIA plus grant that's further down here as well for Pride Month. So apply for those. And here's the first one I want to talk about: the FedEx e-commerce learning lab. $5,000 for small businesses if you are in the e-commerce space. So if you're in the e-commerce space, let me know in the comments. I can share a little bit more. This is due June 30th. All you need, it's fairly broad. You need to have been operating for at least 6 months in the e-commerce space. So a lot of you come with new ideas, but if you've been around 6 months, if you're producing a shelf-stable, legal packaged product and you've earned less than $500,000 last year. So that's the sweet spot. I know some of you fit into that. In fact, I'm going to share some data in a few seconds about which are the most popular grants and funding opportunities. So here's the form: FedEx e-commerce learning lab, fall 2023. They use Submittable. A lot of these grant opportunities use Submittable. Here is the application. I know I'm zoomed in quite a bit here. Let me zoom out. So as usual, it's basic questions about who you are, your business, EIN, website, when you started. They ask some technical questions about the products you sell, how many units you're doing, etc. So because it is for e-commerce, they want to ask questions about that. That's about it. There are no responses you have to do besides that. You need to put in some required business documentation, and that's it. So anyway, that's for e-commerce businesses. That's the first one I want to talk about. Let me take a look at some of the questions here. And oh, thanks, Jen, for the nice note. And more shout outs here. So Ruben tried the Verizon 25K grant. So good luck with that. And I don't know if I mentioned last Tuesday, but shout out to Anwar. Many of you have seen Anwar. He was a part of our March Madness competition we did in March. He was one of the, I think, 3 winners we had. He was just shortlisted. He won a $5,000 grant. It was the Backing Black Small Businesses grant. And he's in the running for the $25,000 grant. So I always love highlighting successes from the Skip community here. Marva, good to hear you're working on your business plan. Glad to hear so many of you are doing that. So hopefully you can tune in tomorrow if you have questions specific to the business plan. So anyway, more on that later. Glad to see some of you are in the e-commerce space and you can apply for that. And shout outs to Canada as well, and Missouri. Okay. So that is e-commerce grant. We've just posted that. Here it is, the FedEx e-commerce grant. So in order: June Skip grants, Queer to Stay grant, Small Business Growth Fund. Let me talk about this because we just put it up. Due in July. And this is up to $25,000, between $5K and $25K. Must be a for-profit business, less than $1 million in 2022 gross revenue, and a clear plan for how the funds will help you achieve growth. You need to apply by July, as I mentioned. And here we go. Once you track it, you see the confetti and you can click apply for this opportunity. It's through Hello Alice. So Hello Alice probably does 1 good grant a month. We have our eyes on Hello Alice. Looks like their page is loading or not loading. But if you have, we'll take a look at the link. This is the direct link to the Hello Alice site, or you can log into the Hello Alice dashboard to track that one. Okay. The next one I have open here is one that's popular, that's back, but it's only back for the Northeast. So all of you who've tuned in right now for the Northeast, I'm going to give you shout outs. The Power Forward Small Business Grant Program. Celtics are involved with this. This is a new partner, Vistaprint, with the NAACP. The Boston Celtics Shamrock Foundation. I never heard about it before. Anyway, they're teamed up to do these grants again. This is for Black-owned small businesses between 2 and 25 employees. If you are in Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Vermont, or selected areas of Connecticut, it's interesting that it's so super specific there for Connecticut, you can apply. So just click apply here. You're directed to, again, Hello Alice to apply for this. So that is up. And if anyone's eligible for that, would love to hear below. Okay. Let me go back to some of the other new ones. Oh, here's a one for nonprofit. So if you're a nonprofit watching, I know some of you are. This is an ongoing program. In case you're not aware of it, the Google Ad Grants. Okay. You can, I believe, get up to $10,000 per month in search ads shown in Google if you're a nonprofit. So I wonder if anyone has taken advantage of this if you're a nonprofit. But some of these big companies, they often do credits, especially for nonprofits. Okay. The really popular one is the Freed Fellowship. I'm going to talk about this, but let me just tell you what the 10 most popular opportunities are right now on the Skip app, because we don't share this data anywhere else. But SBA microloans, these two are non-grant. SBA microloans and the Employee Retention Credit, ERC, the two most popular. I hope some of you have applied and received ERC. It's still very popular, still a lot of people applying. And finally, people are getting approved because a lot of folks we helped November, December, January, the IRS has finally gotten back to you with your check. America, then the second most popular one is the America's Top Small Business. That's the Chamber of Commerce one. That's very popular. That's also on the app here. Then there's our June Skip grants and some of our other funding partners. Ingredients for Success, which is due June 26th. That's the famous Amos one. That's on the app here. The Ink File one, I'll show you that in a second. And the Galaxy of Stars, which is also open. So Ink File, Galaxy of Stars, both due June 30th. So it's a busy month for grants, and the couple Pride grants as well that I talked about. Okay. Apply today for the $2,500 small business grant. We just listed this. This is a rolling, ongoing grant, $500 grants, kind of like what we do, except we mostly give out $1,000, but we sometimes do $500 as well. It's the Freed Fellowship. And anyway, it's very easy to apply, to go through a quick flow. So I encourage you all to do that because, again, it's a no strings attached grant. Yeah, so take a look. Let me see some of the comments here. All right, some hello skips. Yeah, hello to all of you as well. And also just want to say, everyone who's been leaving reviews on the App Store this week and last week doesn't go unnoticed. It's really amazing to see how many new folks are joining the Skip community and finding funding options for themselves, for their business. There's one. Okay, here's the Ink File one. Please go apply if you have questions. We have been seeing a lot of people get this in because it's fairly straightforward. You can apply in about an hour. Grants for Growth Sustainable Packaging Program, specific to LA or New York. So I forget if we saw some LA shout outs in the comments or New York restaurant owners. That one's for you. And then there's a bunch of women-owned business grants as well. And I just want to share a quick preview. We've heard a lot of great feedback from you. For those of you who want to leave us feedback, many of you are highly engaged friends of Skip, part of the Skip community. You can always email us app@helloskip.com with your feedback. One of the things we're adding in soon is a way to filter here and on the app. So if you just want to see grants that are open to everyone, or grants that are open to women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, we'll have a few filters. And so hopefully that will be a big help, because I know it takes time to go through all of these and then check eligibility. So hopefully this will make it easier for you to discover and ultimately apply for these grants. Okay, so those are some of the new ones. Let's see here. Anyone able to apply for any of these recent grants? Oh, here's the second National Pride Grant, $25,000 for 25 LGBTQIA plus small businesses. That's due Tuesday, June 27th. And we're picking our $1,000 winners on Tuesday, June 27th as well. So a lot of good grants. Here's employability for California-based businesses, $20K to $200,000 if you're in California. That's good through the end of the year. Okay. And we'll check. Maybe Hello Alice is having some server issues here. It looks like we got it both for their pages here. So who knows why their site's down. It happens. Okay. Yeah. So if you have questions on these, of course, many of you are working with our team, would love to work with you one-on-one. Or if you want one-off grants help, this has been an option we've helped a small number of people with. If you just want, like, I really want to get in this FedEx grant or this America's Top Small Business grant, and that's it, we can help you with these one-off grants as well. Can't wait to share more success stories on grants coming up. And as always, huge shout out to our team who works around the clock. We pride ourselves in being probably the most comprehensive and the largest grants and funding source in the U.S. And the team continues to make it better and better to help businesses like you, business owners like yourself. Has anyone applied for the Freed grant? This has been ongoing for a while. We haven't talked about them in probably 6 to 9 months. So I'd be curious if you've applied for those. Bundia says, "Hey Skip, I'm a new business, March 3rd, 23. Am I too early in my journey to begin asking for grants?" Absolutely not. Of course, some have requirements. It's a great question. So I think a record number of new businesses will be started this year. This is the trend we see every single year. It just gets more and more new small business owners. And even if you have a small business today, an existing one, many people are starting a second, let's say, side hustle or project, but making it official, trying to get money for that. Bundia, you could, for example, apply for our Skip grants. We don't have time and business requirements. Some of these other grants I pointed out don't have a time requirement as well. So you can always see those on the details here when you click into information here. It'll give that pertinent information, like if there's a minimum time in business. And Sandar, let's see what you've said. Whenever I feel like I'm just never going to make my business successful, I jump on my Skip app. Great to hear. So many grants, loans, great webinars, info, guidance. What a testimonial. And I always appreciate your support and being a longtime supporter. Yeah. And just on behalf of the team too, I'll be sure to share this with them. And you're getting some nice shout outs here as well. Right on target. Okay. So noted on all the states you're in. I saw about 20 states come through today. If you haven't put down your city and state yet, please do, because after we do these lives, the team goes and looks and say, "Oh, we had someone in Wisconsin. Let's look for grants in Wisconsin and see if we can put it on the app help you with some local grants." And I think, again, if you haven't been on the app in the last 24 hours, there's at least 5 or 6 new opportunities there. So hopefully you go check them out today. We always find earlier in the week, there's a lot more energy. Monday and Tuesday, we see the data. Most of you are start tracking on Monday and Tuesday. So that's why we like to do these earlier in the week, and encourage you to make a commitment to apply for 1 or 2 more new opportunities this week. And of course, I hope many of you will tune in tomorrow for this one, and we may announce one on Friday too. So TBD on Friday. At least next Tuesday, we'll be back to talk about the latest batch of grants. But as always, love seeing so many of you familiar faces. More shout outs to Alabama, Oregon, and Florida. So really appreciate seeing so many of you. And let's see, what else can I plug just to say that's it. Hopefully you can find fundings that work for you, because I guarantee there's something that is on the app for you today. And best of luck. Can't wait to hear your questions next time. Until then, hopefully you all have a great rest of your Tuesday, and hope to see some of you tomorrow when we talk about business plans. Again, here is the statistic. Again, the second statistic, a business plan increases the chances of growth by 30%. Approximately 70% of businesses that survive for 5 years follow a strategic business plan. So all signs and data pointing to the point is like, you should take the time to think about a business plan. And I'm going to demystify it tomorrow, show you how you can quickly build one, at least for yourself, if not for grant applications, for lenders. So it'll help increase your chances of success. Until next time, until tomorrow, hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon. And thanks again. Bye-bye.